My next guest is a former mixed martial artist. He is currently signed with BKFC Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. You can catch him on April 30th, which will be on a Friday, where he goes one on one with Dillon Cleckler on BKFC 17 live from Birmingham, Alabama, which you can catch on the BKFC TV app. Please welcome onto the show Josh the Hammer Burns. How you doing, Josh?
Doing well, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for your time.
Right on.
Awesome, Josh. So, just for my audience may not know you, or just people that are familiar with you, Josh, can you just go ahead and just introduce yourself to everyone and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Josh Burns. They call me the Hammer. I've been fighting for over 16 years. I'm part of Hammer House with Mark Coleman, the legend, Hall of Fame, Godfather, ground and pound. And I fought in Europe for about 5 years, bare knuckle, after I stopped doing MMA with Bellator. And Dave Feldman, who owns BKFC, gave me a shot about 7 years ago. And now that his stuff's up and running, I came back over to the States to make a run here in the United States.
Awesome, awesome, man. Now, you were a former mixed martial artist, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So now, why make a transition from MMA to BKFC? What really intrigued you and sparked that for you?
Well, with MMA was more of a hobby. It was just
Okay.
something I did for fun, and I was very blessed at the level that I got to have fun at.
Yeah,
And I've always been a hands guy. I always want to stand and throw.
yeah,
And with MMA, a lot of guys, as soon as they felt power, they felt what I had to offer with the hands, they took it elsewhere. Kicks,
yeah.
trying to grapple, do things like that. So with BKFC and bare knuckle fighting, you have to stand, you have to bang. And the great thing about this sport is if you don't have heart, you don't last. And I have a lot of heart, so it's definitely an intangible that I have, and makes this journey enjoyable.
Definitely. Now, when I say like bare knuckle fighting, like championship, just in general with people, a lot of people like to say, "Oh, that's kind of like gruesome, or it could be so, I guess, barbaric," and is the word that's thrown a lot to me. But I always tell people like it's takes a lot more skill than what people really like seem to think. Like I like data, and I like obviously there's a form of entertainment, but there's also a form of like mind exercise. You know what I mean? So like I was watching some of your fights, and there's a lot of technique and skill that really comes to it, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to be a lot more crisp on how you punch. You got to know how to punch. If you're not punching straight, if you're complacent with your punches and throw them a little bit off or throw them a little bit, awkward, you're gonna
Yeah,
blow your hands out. So you have to be on point. You got to, be selective with your shots, and if you're going for the kill, you got to know you got to get the kill. Because you can't just throw with reckless abandonment. I mean, I do, but
yeah.
knock on wood, I've been blessed to not have any broken bones, but you definitely have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to blow your hands.
Definitely. And it's again, there's a lot of strategy into it. Obviously, you're talking about how you have to be careful with your hands, of course, because I mean, one bad punch, I mean, you could shatter your wrist.
Absolutely. You lose your weapons. And with bare knuckle fighting, you only have two weapons, which is your hands. So you need to take care of them. So select your shots, pick them correctly, and make sure that they have the intent and the devastation that you're intending, and without hurting yourself.
Yeah, and now I mentioned this because, well, going back to your BKFC debut here in the US, BKFC 17, which happened in December of last year, you fought Chris Sorrow. I mean, if
Yes.
okay, so funny to me when I think of strategic strategy, the way you build and the way you process and the way you go about a fight, you could literally just put your fight on and people could see that on display. And what I mean by that is just I mean, first of all, spoiler alert, the finish, right? For everyone there, it was so crisp. But you can really see like the kind of technique and the work that really gets put in there. How was your experience debuting for BKFC here in the US as you were going into that fight, Josh?
Well, the debut was great.
Yeah,
I was able to attend a few shows before then, so I know
yeah,
the production level, and it was no different than UFC or Bellator. Same production level, same heightened media. And as far as the overall experience was great. The fight with Chris Sarr was coming off about a 16-month layoff, so we had to
yeah,
be careful going in there just to make sure we just knocked that the ring rust off prior. So that's why we waited around really before I really got going,
yeah,
and got yelled at. If you watch the fight, Coleman yelled at me, and Vic,
yeah,
they were yelling at me in between rounds to you know let my hands go. And you gotta take what your opponent gives you. And for me, fortunately, Chris Sarro just gave me wide open shots, and we threw that triple jab, and he backed up in a straight line, which is an ultimate no-no. Any fighter will tell you that.
Yeah.
And so we went ahead and followed through the second triple, which would have been a jab, a hybrid hook, and then the two, and he went to sleep.
I mean, and it was right on the button. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was perfectly placed. That's
Yeah,
a
definitely a nice place shot. I think he was out with the hook. I think the hybrid hook actually had him. There were some still shots where it looked like no one was home. The two, I was fully extended, so what didn't have 100% power on it, but sometimes you don't need that. Only need about 70%, and it just put the icing on the cake, and down he went.
Now, do you feel like Josh, like the preparation for a BKFC fight was a lot smoother than your typical MMA fight?
It's it, all camps will go smooth. It just
Okay.
depends on how you're doing it. So with bare knuckle fighting, it's basically boxing training, and you're doing that, but you're training in a different dynamic. You're training for 2 minute rounds
Okay.
with a 1 minute break, but at the same time, you're training to be a lot more crisp. You're training to hit a lot straighter and be more selective with your shots. So anyone will tell you, you could take an MMA fighter, put them in a boxing ring, and they're going to get exhausted. I mean, Conor McGregor is a perfect example,
Yeah.
So it's just two different disciplines. But if you take a boxer and put them in MMA, they're going to get exhausted. So you have to respect both sports. It's just you have to train for what you're fighting. And we're training in a very explosive, fast-paced rounds with bone-on-bone action. So most fights are going to end pretty quick, and you just got to make sure you're on the right end of it.
Now, so we bring up that fight right here. So when you finished, obviously, I noticed that I guess you were a little bit more motivated, is the way I should say, like that. I mean, you were hyped in that sense. Um, is there a particular reason why?
Yeah, Chris and I, we didn't know each other, and we had some back and forth uh, communication. And I don't have a problem with anything to do with if you want to talk about me inside the ring, call me
Yeah,
fat, call me slow. Hey, it's part of the game. I can't
yeah,
take it personal. The second you take it outside the arena, combat arena, and take it into personal, that's when it goes beyond what I consider the fighting arena and what's acceptable. And I'm a veteran, so Coleman, myself, Vic, my trainers, like we knew what was said, so we decided just to keep it under wraps. And then, I mean, everybody could see it. Nobody, saw the derogatory statements and things that were sent to me privately and what he did privately,
okay,
and that was his mistake. So we kept professional at the fight, and the weigh-ins, you could see he was the exact opposite. Definitely showing his colors. Now he's also a new guy, not a lot of experience, so maybe that's how he thinks things roll. I don't know, but we kept it cool, we kept it quiet. He kept barking at the weigh-ins, which pretty much everybody saw. So the only way to get him to shut up was just to look at him and say, "All right, look, we'll just see how long that chin holds up." Simple as that. And he giggling with the commissioner and stuff. They laughing, but at the end of the day, the ones laughing at the end of the night, drinking a beer and eating a steak was us. And he was one at the hospital. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, it is what it is. I know at the end of the fight, I like you said, I was a little excited. It's kind of like taking the cork out of the bottle. Can't put it back in, and
yeah.
we kept it under wraps the entire time, which is tough. When you bring family into it, and that's what he was doing, was insulting family and things of that nature. And you know, so when it comes to that, it's hard to keep it under wraps. We kept it under wraps, but once we blew the top off, we gonna let him know. So it was a good thing Dan Mergulati was there. Dan's a friend. He's a good guy. It's his job to keep controlling that ring, which he did. Tossed me like a pillow when I did a ninja roll. So nobody ever wants to give me credit for my ninja roll. I was a 280-pound dude doing ninja roll. But yeah, no, it was good. I'm usually pretty humble, but with that situation, it was first time. Be honest with you, the first time in my combat
Yeah.
sports history at 16 years, the first time I ever had somebody go to the links that he went to try to get under my skin and do things. And yeah, you know what? Sometimes you want to be careful what you ask for, and he got exactly
Definitely.
what he asked for. So, and at the end of the day, he was the one that went to the hospital. He was one that was carried into the hotel afterwards because he couldn't walk. He's the one that stayed at the hotel a couple extra days longer because he was just that messed up. And I don't wish harm upon anybody, but
Yeah.
it's always fun to let somebody know that they definitely, the point got driven home, and he was worse for wear, not me.
Definitely. I mean, I think. I mean, do you feel like? So, I mean, you've been in the game for a long time, so obviously this isn't maybe like with your experience it is, but I mean, we hear about people. go to great lengths to try to like talk smack or I guess insult in this case. Do you feel like that's like a level of uncertainty that fighters have whenever they have to like bring something outside like that to like competitors like you, Josh?
Yeah, I feel like the fact that he reached out to me privately when I wasn't his friend on Facebook
Okay.
and had sent me some artwork and was like, "Oh, hey, here's some artwork I did. It's an honor. It's gonna be an honor." And this, that, and I'm old school, so for me, to me, that's kind of a bitch move. And I've said it
Yeah.
from the beginning. And people can agree or disagree. I don't really care. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, if I'm fighting you, I'm not gonna reach out. If we're not boys and I don't know you, I'm not reaching out to you telling you, "Oh, it's gonna be cool to fight you. Oh, it's an honor." Nah, bro. I'll tell you that after I knock you out or we have a
Yeah.
war, but I'm not doing it beforehand. And that's all I said. And he obviously took great offense to that, and that's when he started pulling up stuff outside of the fight arena, putting
Yeah.
it on his public, profiles. And I got a lot of kids, and
Yeah.
my daughters go scrolling to see who dad's fighting, and sees them dogging me and putting stuff online that's personal, that's outside the fight, has nothing to do with the fighting arena.
Yeah.
And now you just made it personal. Now you bring your family into it. So guess what, buddy? You're gonna get what you asked for.
I mean, you definitely made a statement. But again, one of the another takeaway I had is, man, Dan, like the referee, was
Yeah.
really
Yes. Yep.
strong. Because I mean, he swooped in there, and I mean, he like pushed you off him. I mean, that's his
Yeah.
job. And I told myself, man, I don't think I would have been able to do that. So he's definitely props to him for stepping
Absolutely.
in there when he did. Now,
Absolutely.
Josh, your next fight is going to be on April 30th, all the way
Mhm.
from Birmingham, Alabama, versus Dillon Cleckler. I don't forgive me if I'm
Yes.
mispronouncing that. What can the audience look forward to when they watch Josh Burns fight on April 30th?
Well, anytime you watch me fight, you're going to look for, explosive action. I'm always looking to end the fight as quick as possible. I don't get
Yeah.
paid by the minute. So as soon as I can get the hell out of there, it's great. But I am fighting a hell of an opponent in Dillon Cleckler. They call him DC. I call him the human tank. You look at the guy, he's built like a Greek god. He's
Yeah.
got abs on top of abs and, all that good stuff. And he just looks the part. But as I always say, you don't build abs on, you don't build abs on the chin. And there's nothing you can do to build that chin up. I've never been knocked out. I've been stopped because of cuts, but never been knocked out. And he has been knocked out, and his chin is definitely questionable. And now that's in the MMA, arena when he fought a bunch of guys that were under 500 records. So
Yeah.
now you're moving up to people that I've got 100% KO ratio. I'm 7-2, and all my KOs have been under 3 minutes. So I'm definitely going out there to, definitely test his chin and see where it's at. Now he's a monster though, so you never know. This could be a 5-round war. I mean, I don't see it going 5 rounds either way. Either he knocks me out or I knock him out, one or the other. But it's going to be a hell of a fight, and I promise when people watch me fight, they're going to be going, "Ooh, like they're going to be on the edge of the seat," because I don't play.
Is there a fight prediction that we can get on that one, or you don't like to do predictions, Josh?
Oh, it's really, at the end of the day, I'm gonna knock him out. It just depends on how quick. If the guy runs from me, he's got a great camp. He's got a great coach and team down there. But at the end of the day, the proof's in the pudding. I've never been knocked out. I've never been rocked, and I've fought some of the best punchers in the world. He has been knocked out and he has been rocked, and that was in MMA. So moving into bare knuckle fighting, like getting hit with a bone on bone. Trust me, not only is it your chin, but it's also your heart. So we're gonna be bringing two things into this, and it's gonna be testing his heart, which I think he has a lot of heart, but that chin I think is questionable, and it's my job to check it. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
be doing some chin checking, and I really believe that this fight should end on a KO and me being victorious.
As this will be your first main event under the BKFC title here, correct? The
Yeah,
promotion.
yeah. This is the main event. It's a title eliminator. So the winner out of DC and myself fights the winner out of Joey and Sam Shoemaker for the heavyweight strap later this year.
So is that your goal, Josh, in BKFC? Is that to be the heavyweight champ?
Absolutely. I don't do this to look pretty. You know what I'm saying? I got
Yeah.
to get that belt. Solidify my legacy in the sport and right off in the sunset with a cool little mai tai in my hand.
Is there anything else that you're looking forward to in this sport here with the promotion?
Well, with the promotion, I'm looking as soon as I'm done fighting, I want to be an ambassador for the sport. I
Yeah.
definitely like to do some commentating, which I got to do the last fight. Got a little taste out of it. Uh, Definitely be an ambassador because there's nowhere in the United States right now is there anybody that has the experience that I do. Out of even the
Yeah.
BKFC, the entire company itself, I am by far the most experienced out of everyone, top to
Yeah.
bottom, brass, everybody. So, at the end of the day, I would like to be able to bring that education and that experience to the company and help the young fighters that are coming up, because you get a lot of misconceptions with bare knuckle fighting, and people
Yeah.
are thinking you get these goofballs out there hitting hard things with their hands and doing stuff, and which, man, yeah, you watch as many kung fu Jackie Chan movies as you want, but those kung fu masters have done that for 30 plus years. That's why their hands are
Yeah.
like stone. You're not going to do it in 6 months or a year. So this is all about repetitive impact, the density of the bone. So a lot of guys that are in combat sports should already have density of the bone.
Right.
So you need to protect your hands, and you just need somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, someone that's educated. And at the end of the day, I've got, their most experienced fighter. I have what, 4 fights more than that person.
Yeah.
So, and I've been fighting for 6 years now. So going on 7. So most of these guys only got 3 years tops experience. So, I was blessed enough to go over to UK where this all originated. Bare knuckle fighting started in Europe. And so I went over there with the travelers and learned from them, and, got some tricks and learned a lot about the game. So it's definitely something I want to do with BKFC moving forward after my fighting career is done.
Well, you're off to a fantastic start. BKFC definitely is the fastest growing sport here, also in the US right now. So it's going to be very exciting. Josh, I'm very excited to watch you April 30th. Go down with Dillon Cleckler. So it's going to be a fantastic fight for all the audience. Check it out on the BKFC TV app. It'll be on Friday. It'll be April 30th. Nothing better to do than watch some bare knuckle fighting championship with Mr. Josh Burns. Is there anything you want to say before we sign off, Josh?
No, man, just appreciate the time. Big shout out to Tiger Life Energy, man, one of my main sponsors. Good people, and I appreciate you having me on the show, brother.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Josh. I truly appreciate your time. And to all the audience that's listening, have a safe week. Be safe, folks. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.